In India, election happens after every 5 years. Political parties keep changing. New parties keep coming on rule. Directives or directive principles are the directions given to these politicians that if you want to come back again in the next election, please respect directive principles, which is the ultimate aim of our constitution. Hello everyone, Dr. Vaishali here. Welcome to Law Simple, Pure and to the Core. Today we are going to go through the directive principles of state policy. So let us begin. The framers of the constitutions were in this respect influenced most by the Constitution of the Irish Republic, which embodied a chapter on directive principles of state policy. So directive principles of state policy are borrowed from the Irish Constitution, and the Irish themselves had however taken the idea from the Constitution of Republic of Spain. So Irish Constitution got the idea from the Spanish Constitution, and we borrowed chapter on directive principles from the Irish Constitution. Part 4, that is Article 35 to Article 51 of the Constitution, contains the directive principles of state policy. Directive means while driving on a road, you get some directions like go in this direction, take a left, take a right, stop at a stop sign, and then again go ahead. So these are the directions which are made for the politicians. So the principles reflect a unique mixture of humanitarian, socialist, Gandhian ideals and democratic socialism. Though non-justiciable means they are not enforceable in a court of law. If they are violated, you cannot go to a court of law as a matter of right. But again, you can go to a court of law, but not as a matter of right. They constitute the fundamental principles of governance. These directives are in nature of directions to the legislature and executive. So basically they are made for the politicians, and politicians are under a duty to respect them in order to get elected in the next election. Most of them aim at the establishment of economic and social democracy as provided in the preamble. Let us quickly go through the characteristics of directive principles. The Sapru Committee in 1945 suggested two categories of individual rights, one being justiciable and the other being non-justiciable. The justiciable rights, as we know, are the fundamental rights, whereas the non-justiciable ones are the directive principles. Justiciable means which are enforceable in the court of law. It sets forth the ideals and objectives to be achieved by the state for setting up in India a social welfare state, as distinguished from a mere police state. In police state will merely do a function of police, peace and order in society. Then during the middle area, it was a laissez-faire state. That state will give unlimited contractual freedom to the individuals. Now it is a welfare state. So aim of welfare state is going beyond the fundamental rights and providing directive principles. So DPSP are ideals which are meant to be kept in mind by the state when it formulates policies and enacts law. So when politicians make new laws, they should respect directive principles. It is intended by the Constitution. They seek to establish economic and social democracy in the country, and they are not legally enforceable. So these are the characteristics of directive principles. Directive principles are classified in three categories. This classification is not provided by the Constitution. It is made for convenience, and how it is made on the basis of their content and directions. So some are socialistic principles which provide for social and economic equality in society or social and economic justice. Second are Gandhian principles which provides for cottage industries or which promotes for independent village units. And then the next category is liberal intellectual principles, which provides for more and more liberal and intellectual advantages. So let us go through these principles. Facts about directive principles of state policy. A new DPSP under Article 38 was added by the 44th Amendment of 1978, which requires the state to minimize inequalities of income, status, facilities and opportunities. The 86th Amendment Act of 2002 changed the subject matter of Article 45 and made elementary education a fundamental right. So earlier, which was provided under 45, now it is provided under Article 21A as a fundamental right. A new DPSP under Article 43B was added by 97th Amendment Act of 2011 relating to cooperative societies. It requires the state to promote voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control, and professional management of cooperative societies. The Indian Constitution under Article 37 makes it clear that DPSPs are fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to respect these principles while making laws. Some examples of implementation of directive principles by legislature: Land Reforms Act, nationalization of bank and industries, welfare schemes for weaker sections of society, Panchayat Raj system, Equal Remuneration Act, environmental safeguards, various laws relating to environmental safeguards, Compulsory Education for Children Act. So these are certain directives which are respected by legislature and which are converted into laws or acts of the parliament. Considering judicial opinion about directive principles, please refer my lecture, Relationship between Directive Principle and Fundamental Rights. Various case laws are provided. You can provide all the case laws in the topic of directive principles again. So please go through that lecture for more case laws. I'm just citing out one case law here. Ranadhir Singh versus Union of India. The Supreme Court held that though the principle of equal pay for equal work is not expressly declared by our Constitution as a fundamental right, but it is the goal of the Constitution by Article 14, 16 and 39C, which provides for equality and for social justice. But it certainly is a constitutional goal. Article 39D of the Constitution proclaims equal pay for equal work for both men and women as a directive principle of state policy. So in this case, equal pay for equal work for both men and women was provided, which is a directive principle which was respected by our courts. While making our Constitution, Constituent Assembly realized that in a country like India, political democracy would be useless without economic democracy. Accordingly, they incorporated a few provisions in Constitution with a view to achieve improvement of the socio-economic condition of the masses. These principles have played a crucial role in legislative and administrative policy making in the country as they seek to build a social justice. Constant efforts are being made to improve the position of the backward and economically weaker section of the society. Even though there have been deficiencies in the implementation of the policies, originally the directive principles shall not be enforceable by any court, but the principles therein laid down are nevertheless fundamental in the governance of the country. So our Constitution couldn't provide each and every right as a fundamental right because of economic constraint, and that's why they are in the that's why they are there in the directive principle. But it doesn't mean that they are less important. That is our ultimate aim. So providing fundamental rights is a basic thing, and achieving directive principles is the goal of our Constitution. So fundamental rights provides for political justice, but directive principles provide for the ultimate social and economic justice. So that's why this is the first step and this is the peak or summit where we want to go. So directive principles is nothing but ultimate aim of the Constitution, where our democracy will really get matured, or when people will really get aware about their rights and parliamentarians will notice that fact, then they will fight more and more for directive principles of state policy. Socialistic principles in directive principles. They are the principles that aim at provide social and economic justice and set the path towards the welfare state. So which are they? Article 38, which promote the welfare of people by securing a social order through justice, social, economic and political, and to minimize inequalities of income, status, facilities and opportunities. Then Article 39 is again a socialistic principle which secures citizens adequate means of livelihood, equitable distribution of material resources to prevent concentration of wealth. So wealth will be the sources of wealth should be equitably distributed. So monopoly is banned under this section. Equal pay for equal work, preservation of health and strength of workers and children, opportunities for the healthy development of children is again assured by Article 39. Article 39A promotes equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. Article 41 secures right to work, education and public assistance. Next socialistic principle is Article 42, which makes provision for just and human conditions of work. It means in an industry there should not be hazardous conditions. Those should be just and human. They should get even breaks. They should get enough facilities, enough light in industries, enough ventilation again. So that comes under Article 42. Article 43 secures a living wage. Living means a basic wage which is essential to support a human being as a human being, a decent standard of living and social and cultural opportunities for all workers. Article 43A secures the participation of workers in the management of industry, so trade unions and labor unions. Article 47 raises the level of nutrition and the standard of living of people to improve public health, under which a nutritious meal will be given to the students in school and all. Second category of directive principles are Gandhian principles. These principles are based on Gandhian ideology, used to represent the program of reconstruction initiated by Gandhiji during the national movement. So Article 40, organization of village panchayats, and endow them with necessary powers and authority to enable them to function as units of self-government. Then Article 43, promotion of cottage industries. Article 43B for promotion of autonomous functioning, democratic control and professional management of cooperative societies. Article 46 provides for promotion of educational and economic interest of SCs, STs and other weaker sections of the societies. Article 47 prohibits the consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs which are injurious to health. Article 48 prohibits the slaughter of cows, calves and other mulch and drought animals, and it focuses on improving their breed. So that's it for the day. So if there is a question on directive principles, please provide all the case laws which are provided by me in the chapter on relationship between directive principles and fundamental rights. So stay tuned till my next lecture. Goodbye and good luck.